All right. Good morning to everybody that's joined, and good evening if there's anyone in the US. I'm sure there's probably one or two. Thank you very much for taking the time to join us this morning. It's so good to be able to present this program and present all the activity that's going on in the US and present potentially once and give everyone the tools and activity and information that you need to really grow over in the US. So I'm just going to start this morning by, whoops, I've already skipped across. Just wanted to say that we respectfully acknowledge the traditional owners and custodians of the land on which we meet today. We also acknowledge that we have a number of parties joining us by phone from other regions of Victoria. We would also like to acknowledge the traditional owners and custodians of those regions and pay our respect to elders past, present and emerging. So I just want to start by introducing us, the team at Wine Victoria, or the USA team. So Steph, unfortunately, is unable to join us this morning. She's our CEO. And Scott, we do have with us. He's the chairman of Wine Victoria and Project Control Board for Trade. We also have Mickey Deehan, which I hope will be joining us very shortly. He's having some login issues. So hopefully he'll be on board soon so you can meet him. Myself, I'm the program manager for Wine Victoria for the US market. And we've got Halani, hi Halani, our secretariat, who's keeping us all in check. So to kick off this morning, I wanted to hand over to Scott, who's going to give a bit of an overview of the program.
Yeah, thanks, Kate. Morning, everyone. Thanks again for joining the session. Great to see plenty of familiar faces out there and ex-colleagues as well, as it seems. So, look, as many of you probably seen in the media recently, Wine Victoria's announced quite a significant investment into the US market. We actually launched this to industry in November last year, so it's a good opportunity to update everyone on where we're at and the opportunities moving forward. A bit of background, the guiding principle behind the investment has really been to establish an upgraded footprint for Victorian wine in the US market. Look, as a category, we're pretty underrepresented at the moment, but there's plenty of opportunity in the US in terms of just changing the landscape in the US in terms of sentiment around Australian wine, and Victoria is really well placed to take advantage of varietal trends in market, and also where price points are showing growth, which is sort of $15 US shelf price plus, which really plays with the wheelhouse of plenty of our Victorian wineries, which is terrific. To that point, we've developed the South by Southeast export strategy, which really aims to facilitate an increase in exports and in-market sales of premium Victorian wines across the south and southeastern states of the US. And look, this is a program that's really focused on commercial outcomes. This is around driving market sales across those states in the US, and really about influencing sales. So very much a trade-focused program, and influencing the influencers is a big part of it. The states in focus include Texas, Florida, Georgia, the Carolinas, Tennessee, Alabama, Louisiana, amongst others. But look, naturally, we'll look at all opportunities as they arise, as we have done already as part of the program. But in terms of our strategic focus, it's really on moving the dial for Victoria in those aforementioned states. Look, in terms of the Project Control Board, this program is overseen by the Project Control Board, which is a collaborative oversight committee, which comprises wine industry representation, Global Victoria representation, and also Department of Agriculture representation. If you just move on to the next one, please, Kate. In terms of our program, as I said, this is really around facilitating and delivering commercial outcomes for those wineries that are already in market, as well as those that are seeking to enter the market. Our strategy really has two really clear pillars. It's participation and amplification. Participation is really around creating pathways and facilitating more wineries to enter the market. As I said, if you are considering the US market, there's never been a better time to to start to take that leap in terms of, we're well suited from a varietal perspective in terms of, what's happening from a trends perspective, and we're well suited from a premium position, as well as in terms of where growth's coming from in the market. So our role really from a participation perspective is to create pathways and support wineries to to enter the market, to find an importer and begin to actually do business in the US. The second part of the program is amplification, and that's really around supporting those wineries that are already in market or those that have newly entered through a really comprehensive program of trade activity and initiatives, which Kate will run through later in the session. But really the objective of these initiatives are twofold. The first one is to engage and motivate at distributor and retail level to develop a program of robust promotional support. So that's really around influencing those two tiers to create a bit of a push and pull scenario for Victorian wines through the system. And the second one is around building brand awareness for the trade. We've got a big job to do with distributors, with retailers, with the SOM community, with wine media and influencers in terms of the diversity of Victoria, what our USPs are, and what we offer and what we bring to the category. So that's a huge part of it as well. Look, this is a trade-focused program. You'll see very little, if any, sort of consumer-facing activity, at least in the sort of first year or two. But we realise we've got a big job to do to support wineries in market and support those that are looking to enter as well. So that's a bit of a summary, I guess, on the program and our key principles and objectives and what we're seeking to achieve. So I'll hand back to Kate now just to give us a bit more detail around the program.
Brilliant. Thanks, Scott. I think, well said. And I think, as you said, it is really, if you're considering the US market, I think now is the best time, because having all this sort of support and funding going on over there, I think we are sort of starting to create a bit of a buzz and lots of activity to be involved in. So I just wanted to do a very brief overview of the US market. This is actually taken from Wine Australia's market entry program presentation. So look, I guess the US is a complex market, and just to really give you a top line, I was hoping Mickey might jump on and give a bit of a hand here, but he'll hopefully...
I'm here, Kate.
You're here. Great.
Yep,
nice to see you, Mickey. Well done.
Yep.
So look, the 3-tier system over in the US, there are 3 tiers, and it's producers, which includes importers, distributors, and retailers. So while you need an importer into the US, the importer then needs to sell on to the distributor, and then they sell on to the retailer. And that is a state-based system. So you may need a distributor in multiple different states. Is there anything you want to add to that, Mickey, on a top line?
No. Just recently, in the last week, I got access to the Pro-V 750 insights, and they gave me every distributor in the country that sells any one of your wines. And I've created a very big spreadsheet across, a number of wineries across every state, and was able to identify where everyone is. And Kate and I are sharing this document, which we can share out to you, because Southern Wine and Spirits, for example, do not share this information with Pro-V or 750. And so where you may have Southern Wine and Spirits as a partner in some markets, it's unknown to us. And we also are leaving a blank space to list your importer. And if you're interested in finding importers, just let me know, and we will work towards finding you importers, and also understanding what your distributor growth plan is. If you want to start in a certain region and expand, just kind of let me know. And please feel free. I'm looking at Angela right now. She and I just spoke about an hour ago, and we talked about her strategy. And so I'm more than happy to help everyone. So please feel free to reach out. But like Kate alluded to, it is a complicated web, but that's why I'm here. and help you navigate through it. So thanks, Kate.
Brilliant. Thanks, Mickey. So I guess the other really major change that's happened over the last 20 plus years is the distributor consolidation. So back in 1995, there was about 1,800 wineries in the US, and that number has now tenfolded. And the number of distributors has diminished. And this has been a case of distributors merging and coming together and buying one another out. And so I guess what you might find throughout this activity, we're placing quite a importance on this distributor level, because that really is the biggest hurdle. And on top of that, the 5 distributors control over 50% of the total market. So there's a bit of a breakdown. That was a couple of years ago, but they're the big names. And you heard Mickey just talk about Southern, which is number 1, of which we just had out to Victoria, which was a great coup, and now looking at getting some more. So that's a very, very top line overview of the US. And I'll now sort of run through what Wine Victoria is doing with our government grant and the activities that we're embarking on in terms of growing that participation and amplification. So in terms of participation, the route to market is through the Wine Australia Market Entry Program. That's the preferred and highly successful method. I think of the 15 wineries that went through the program last financial year, 90%, I believe, have secured an importer or having very promising conversations with an importer. So look, that is a model that is working, and Wine Australia have some outstanding knowledge and relationships, and they really hold your hand throughout the process and work on your brand story, look at your products. They know the market, they know what people are looking for, and they can help you find an importer. So we've got about 16 wineries coming through, commencing now, and we'll hope to run that program again. So if you're not involved in that this year, just send me an email. We'll pop you up as an expression of interest to join for next year. So that cost is $13,000, of which we subsidise 50% of the program cost to help you along your way. So amplification, this is growing. So participation is getting more wineries in market. Amplification is really growing those wineries in market and helping those wineries that have entered through the market entry program to get through that next stage, get through that distributor and onto the retailer, and get the pull through to consumer. So the initiatives there are in-market resource. We'll talk about trade shows and communications. So broken them down, and I'll go through the activities. Hope you don't mind, Mickey. I popped a little photo of you up there. So in-market resource, which is Mickey, who thanks for that overview. And he's already been in touch with a number of wineries that are already in market or looking to be in market, and helping them drive some of the promotions in retail and through the 3-tiered system. So he will be hosting a couple of trade shows for us in the next few weeks as well, and managing all the on-the-ground activations. A trade for mill. Some of you are probably aware that we had a group of buyers out from the US in June this year, one of them being from Southern. We had a great group, and I think before they even got on a plane, they placed about $150,000 worth of orders. Since then, it's probably gone up closer to $250,000 and growing. These guys absolutely were blown away by the quality of the wines they saw, and we've sent them home as ambassadors of Victorian wines. And throughout the next part of the activity, we're really focusing on how we can support them further to introduce the wines to their customers and make sure they keep buying and increase ranging of brands and volume. So we're looking to do that again, hopefully around March next year. We've got a bit of a target list there with RNDC, who you would have seen is the second biggest distributor, and a couple of others. And Mickey was, sorry? Question?
Hola, Titi.
Not sure. I believe he's probably just mute that. Apologies.
Yeah, just to follow up with you, Kate, I already talked to the gentleman at Maverick today, and he's gung-ho about coming. They're in 5 states. The biggest hurdle I had last time was the lead time, and they all asked, big chains like Target, Kroger, Safeway, HEB, Total Wine. They said they need six months of lead time, and we now have that. So as great as this group was, we think that we'll have like a real A team on the next group. That again, not to diminish these guys, because these guys are great, but now that we have Southern already tick that box. Southern and RNDC and Breakthrough, they don't play really nice together. So it's really nice that we'll be able to freely open it up to key guys from distributors, and also get some real power buyers on this next trip. So
Brilliant.
yeah, I'll keep you posted as we make progress.
Brilliant. Good to hear. And for those that didn't join us, Southern actually hosted a webinar a couple of weeks back on a Friday, and that recording is available on the Wine Victoria website and YouTube channel. And they basically said, if you want to pitch your wines into us, go for it. Send us a 2-pager, and the details is in that presentation. So you're welcome to follow that up and pitch directly to them. They were really
and just further add, like what Kate just said, Eric heads up a group that they want to manage distributors or suppliers.
I'll hang here for a bit if you're happy to hang here. It's
very,
just
very small amounts of business in the US. And Mike is the next stage up at Southern Wine Spirits. And then the big platform, you have to be at about 100,000 cases before you're considered. So we have the artisan and signature division of Southern Wine Spirits as real possible opportunities. So
good point. Yeah, he said to me, he said, we want wineries that say they have a finite resource. They're not looking for high volume through that domain and estates. So yeah, very worth noting that small wineries are, they're looking for them. So retail activations, this is driven by Mickey. So he's managing a group of retail promotions such as increasing ranging, floor promotions, in-store tastings. These are bespoke. These are with retailers that there's a big opportunity. Generally already have at least a few Victorian wines, and we're funding promotions to increase the ranging as well as drive some in-store promotions to get it through to the consumer. So there's a couple of Piggly Wiggly specs, HEB. There's a couple that we're sort of just kicking off in the next few months.
Yeah, and to just add to what Kate's saying there, I've spoken to a few people that they might not be in these huge accounts, and we could tailor promotions. Our basic standard is a $20 rate per case. So if a restaurant group, wants to buy, or commits to 50 cases, they could get $1,000 type of support from us. So, it's a rate per case of $20 a case is really kind of how we're tailoring this program. So if you have, reasons to think that there's a restaurant group or a smaller than Piggly Wiggly or Specs or HEB, let me know. And we're open to opening any channel we can. So.
Lovely, thank you. So trade Provi. Provi is the fastest growing marketplace for on and off premise buyers. Look, this is a huge, it's the platform between the distributor and the retailer. So a huge number of retailers use this platform to buy their wine. So we have a regional guide on the platform, which is on 750 Daily, which is their partner news site, which I recommend you subscribe actually to 750 Daily. They have some really great emails and information coming out in the alcohol space. We have a custom landing page with some biddable ads to really help get that Wine Victoria message out to the retailers and the buyers on Provi. Another one is wine.com. So wine.com is, for those that don't know wine.com, I guess it's similar to Vivino in that you can order directly. There's an app, there's a website. The interesting thing about wine.com, it is the largest online wine and spirits retailer. I think they're in almost all states. I think there's only about 4 or 5 that they're not able to sell to. Their average selling price is actually $33 a bottle, which is incredibly high. So this is a really good opportunity for those smaller wineries that are already in the States. All you need to have is distribution in California or New York as a minimum. And if you jump on the Wine Victoria website in the programs tab, you can find the link on how to email alex@wine.com directly to apply to have your winery on the platform. What they do is they buy through the distributors. So they list your wine, and when they get an order, they place the order directly through the distributor as a consignment. So it's a really quick and easy way of signing up, and then if it sells well, then they'll bring it into their warehouse. So we're running a few ads here. We've got some emails going out, I think maybe next week, and then running some ads on wine.com website and on social media. So that's running throughout August, September. But I really encourage you, if you've got wines in California, list as many as you can. I think there's about 60 currently on the platform. So we'll report back on the success of that one. This is a trade-focused tasting panel and som journal. Tasting Panel magazine is a hugely circulated beverage magazine that goes into all the sommeliers, all into the on-trade. So we have a partnership with them, and there's some advertising in the magazine itself, but I think the education side of it in a 3-part study series that's going out in the magazine over the next 12 to 18 months. We get a whole heap of wine reviews in there. They're also running SomCon, which is coming up in a couple of weeks, which Mickey will be attending, and we've got a wine in their masterclass there. They're also going to host a online masterclass and webinar for sommeliers and buyers, and also a som camp, which we're going to try and arrange for next year. Sorry, I've got my thing in front of my screen.
If anyone's confused, it's not Matt Falls, it's Joe Wagner, who I used to work for as well. So if you thought that was Matt, it's eerie resemblance.
What was that?
It's an eerie resemblance to Matt Falls. It's Joe Wagner in that.
Oh, really?
Yes. I used to work for him. Yep. With
It
Naomi.
does.
Yep.
Yeah, look, this is a really exciting partnership because it includes wine reviews, it's education, it really gets Victorian wines on the map in terms of the key sommeliers and buyers, and for them hosting this masterclass and running the camp, that basically means they're inviting all the people, and we'll just make sure we're putting our best message forward. I will talk at the end about how to be involved in the PR program, because this is a new thing, and we are encouraging wineries to pop wines in to be submitted for the PR program. So I'll talk about that at the end. Victorian Wine Days, what we became quite clear was when we had our guests out here from the States, they indicated demand for a US-based tasting. They said, look, we are complete advocates of your wine, and we would love for you to come over and bring some wines, and we can bring our customers. That's the next tier in the chain, to come along and taste the wines and introduce them to Victorian wines and make them advocates as well. So we're looking to host a couple of Victorian Wine Days. If any winemakers are traveling, look, we're working out what date. We're trying to avoid vintage, but it will be sort of in the first half of next year. If you are looking to travel to the US, then definitely touch base with Mickey and me, and we'll let you know when these days are, because we would love to have some wineries attend. And we've also got our PR agency there, which we'll talk about in a minute. Trade shows, we've got a couple coming up. So Texom, we've got 2 tables of 6. This one's happening almost now. So this is over the weekend, and Wine Victoria has funded 50% of this. So the wines had to be in Texas, and we sent out an expression of interest for that a couple of months ago. So that one's all locked away. SomCon is coming up in a couple of weeks as well. Again, we've got 10 Victorian wines showcased to the buyers. This one, again, was an expression of interest, and wines had to be available in California. So for this activity, we really need you to advise us of what wines you've got in what state. And we've got a drop form which has been circulating, which I'll lead you to as well. And then early next year, WSWA Access Live. This is by Wine and Spirits Wholesalers. This one's huge, and it's going to be held in Las Vegas next year, so we'll be a part of that as well. Communications, look, I think you're all aware that Australian wine as a whole has a bit of a PR problem in America, thanks to, I guess, Robert Parker, who made Australian wines all about huge, big reds, and then Yellowtail, who made it a bit all about sort of cheap value wines. So we think it's really imperative to have someone on the ground really flying the flag for us over in the US. So we've hired Wine Spoken here, Tim McDonald and his team. They have a fantastic knowledge of Victorian wines, and they also have an amazing list of contacts. So they're going to be managing our PR program in the US. Now they'll be managing our partnership with the Tasting Panel and Somm Journal. So they'll be helping with those articles and submissions. And this is where I would like to invite you to complete an expression of interest to be involved in the PR program. All that you need is 6 bottles of wine. We ask maybe 1, 2, or 3 wines per winery to be submitted. And those wines just need to be sent to California, or if you don't have a California distributor, we will be collating wines in Australia and sending. So 6 bottles, and then Tim will be managing the PR sample program, and that will give you an opportunity to be included in the Somm Journal activations, as well as he will be managing submissions into these top magazines and shows based in the US. Now, this is an interesting one that our Tim McDonald has actually shared with us. The Las Vegas Global Wine Awards is actually the only wine show where you can apply, you can submit to enter whether you have distribution in the US or not. So you're welcome to submit your wines into this show. And if you do win a gold medal or do well at the show, assures you of securing an importer and distributor in Nevada. So this is an opportunity open to everybody, but the deadline's super short. So if anyone wants to jump on that, we would welcome you to. This has literally just come across our desk in the last week. So feel free to reach out to Mickey or me if you want to go ahead with that one, but there is a direct link, and yeah, we encourage you to enter. We have a partnership with Venice magazine. So Angus Hewson, who many of you will know, he's the Australian writer for Venice magazine. He has been secured to cover 3 regions over the next 18 to 24 months. He's completed Mornington. This one's been very delayed, so hopefully that will go up any day. The next one is Yarra Valley and East Victoria, and then you can see another, the rest of the regions will be covered off in the next few months. It'll probably be 12 months. Additionally, Venice are actually creating a proprietary version of the Wine Victoria map. So they will host a interactive wine map on their website. There's one up there of Sonoma at the moment, but just to really help consumers get an understanding of the regions of Victoria. So that will be hosted on the Venice website, which is pretty exciting because that's one of the biggest and most popular wine publications over there. James Suckling, we have a corporate membership with Suckling. Ned Goodwin is the new taster at Suckling. We actually do have logins available, so all you need to do is email me and I can provide you with a login to James Suckling. Ned Goodwin has requested some samples, so a few of you might have seen an email from me, but it is really open to everybody, and I'm pretty sure we've got the submission process on the Wine Victoria website, but if we don't, just reach out to me. I can provide Ned's postal address, and we encourage you to send him samples and inundate him with Victorian wine. San Francisco Wine School. So this one we're running this in January. We'll have probably 6 wines involved across Victoria, a nice representation of all the regions. David Galancy runs this. He's a master sommelier and he will be running it. We actually get to really be very bespoke in who joins. So we will be inviting people specifically, so that's educators, sommeliers, buyers, and they will actually get sent wine samples to their home, and it will be run as a hybrid session. So it'll be in San Francisco Wine School, and many people will be dialing in. So again, that will be you'll need to be part of the PR program to be in that one. So hopefully that gives you a bit of an overview of the activity that we've got. And look, this first point is key. Success of any trade investment program depends on engagement and participation. What I have down the bottom is a jot form. Now, many of you have already filled that in, but we really need you to fill in that jot form, because every time an opportunity comes across our desk in terms of one that's happening next week, which is a wine tasting up in Chicago, we refer to that jot form and find out what wineries are in what state, and then we use that to take advantage of opportunities. And also with Mickey, when he's running retailer promotions, if he knows who you're selling through, then you'll automatically get included in that. So literally first step, fill in that jot form if you have any distribution in the US. If you don't, and you're not part of the market entry program, then email myself and Mickey. We may have opportunities for you, and we'll pop you down as an expression of interest to start the US market entry program next year. So we hope to do that again. We'll have more information sort of towards the end of the year and early next year if we can run that one again. So again, the central point of resource is the Wine Victoria website. We're giving it a bit of an overhaul, but we're trying to get all the programs up there under winevictoria.org.au/programs. You'll see a list of most of the US activity going on there. And we really encourage you to stay up to date with the Wine Victoria emails, because we are sharing a lot of information and how to be involved regularly. Halani's managing the emails, and Steph's been sending them directly, I think, but that's definitely the best way to keep across what's going on and how to be involved. Also, yeah, if you need in-market help, reach out to Mickey. I've put both of our contact emails at the bottom there, and yeah, just get in touch with us and we'll sort of help you away with the next steps. So I just wanted to allow some time for some questions. This presentation will go up on the Wine Victoria website, and we're recording the webinar, so people that have registered but haven't been able to log in will be able to watch this again, and you'll be able to go back through the slides and have a look at all the links and click through, and hopefully we can, yeah, help you get into market, and if you're there, then yeah, help you grow. One sec. So anyone got any questions?
Kate, there was a question earlier from Richard asking about a particular slide. It was the one that was before the participation MEP slide regarding the arrows and what they represent.
Let's have a look. What arrows represented in the last slide on the US distributors? Good question, Richard. I'm going to have to go back and have a look at that slide to remind myself. Whoops, where are we? Assuming you're meaning this one, this is that they've moved up or moved down since the last review. So the top 4 have stayed the same, but there's been a couple that have moved up or moved down in the top 10. I see also a couple of questions about links. So thank you, Halani. You've been replying to those and popped some links there for everyone to access. And yes, we'll definitely send this presentation afterwards. Anyone else got any questions for myself or Mickey or Helani? As you can see, we've got a lot going on. But yeah, look, I think if Scott's point, it is the perfect time to get on board. We're hoping to increase our funding into 2025 and beyond as well. So that's looking really positive. And look, while this step has really been getting the wineries into market, and then this current year is really growing them into the trade and educating the trade about Victorian wine, year 3 will have more of a consumer focus, and we'll start getting on a couple of those consumer events, as well as continuing to drive through the trade. So definitely a good time to give the States a crack. All right, if nobody's got any questions, yeah, as I said, we'll end there, and thanks everyone for your comments. And yeah, reach out with questions.